Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up. Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing you will do the job right every time without question. .320 Solar. Power up.
Just because I let it slide doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart until it's almost wide. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.
Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet? Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Friday the 13th here on the Sports Web. Have you had a good day? Has it cursed you like it somewhat did me? Are you ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers in just 2 days? As we will be live at the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol, getting you ready for Bucs versus the Panthers, your pre-half and post-game editions of the Sports Web. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And as we always start off the Sports Web, bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. So how are you doing tonight? Are you confident in this Bucs team? I'm kind of curious. People say I should stay off of Facebook. Maybe that's a good thing, right? It'd be a good thing to stay off of Facebook a little bit, right? Because social media can make you absolutely crazy. Can absolutely make you crazy. Especially if you see a lot of Bucs fans post. And I swear to God, you would think that this team is 3-6. You would think that they're 3-6. So I guess my question tonight for everybody out there is, are you still confident in this team? Can they take care of business versus the Carolina Panthers on Sunday? Is it going to be a blowout? Is it going to be a close game? Do you think they're going to lose out? Going back to Facebook, I see some of the posts. Oh, the Panthers are tough. Really? 3-5 team? Tough? Yeah, maybe. I guess division rival, if you will. Didn't the Bucs beat them first of the year? 14 points. I get it. They closed it out. It was a close game, but they closed it out no less. Not a great defense. Some defensive talent. Not a great team. You have the Rams for Monday Night Football. Up and down. You have the Kansas City Chiefs. You have the Atlanta Falcons who have won 3 in a row. Oh my gosh. There's no way in the world they're going to beat those teams. There's no way in the world they could run the table. And I get it. They had the one bad game. And I'm with you on that. It was pretty depressing, if you will. You know how you take care of business? You do what the Colts did last night. That's a division game. That's for the AFC South. You got to win that game. They go on the road and win that game. Somewhat shut down Derrick Henry, right? Kept him in check to a certain degree. Don't turn over the ball. Hell, they capitalized on some of the turnovers. They played defense. Their defense showed up. That's how you win a divisional ball game. That's what you do if you want to be a division winner. That division's up in it's up in the air right now. But obviously the Colts have the advantage because they came out and played their game. And they didn't get knocked in the mouth. They came out and played their game. They wanted to win that division. Can the Bucs do that? It's going to be tough. We've been through this over and over again with the Saints. 38-3. Terrible effort on both sides of the ball. All sides of the ball. Terrible. Absolutely dreadful. So do you still have confidence in this team going forward? I hear a lot of fans. No way they can win these games. No way. Really? A couple weeks ago, this team was crowded as the best in the NFL. And now there's fans actually out there saying they're a wild card. 10-6, I hear. 9-7. Really, guys? They're going to lose out? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You Bucs fans are something else. You really are. I love you guys, but some of you, I can't deal with you. You know the old meaning of we can't have nice things? That applies to you guys. You can't have nice things. Oh, they got too many wide receivers on this team now. Oh, they got a controversy with Mike Evans. You got Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Oh my gosh, maybe they have too many weapons. What the hell is that? I've never even heard of that before. Too much of a good thing? Really? It's your offensive line. It goes back to your offensive line. That's the matchup right there. So yes, Carolina is not a great defense. Brian Burns will be difficult. He could be a matchup nightmare if Donovan Smith doesn't play his game. My thing is, I don't understand it. It's almost like everybody has just jumped off the bandwagon at this point. Oh, that's it. 9-7, 10-6. I got a chucklehead here who's becoming the number one troll of the sports web. He says 8-8. Let's read these comments. BA, or 8-8, I think he's trying to write. His fat fingers couldn't do the trick. Laugh out loud. I'll put you on the deck immediately. I don't think so. I don't think so, Roger Shoe. DNC that. You must have been drinking tonight. I don't know what the hell you were drinking. But that's my question for you guys tonight. Do you still have confidence? Or are you a bipolar Bucs fan? And what I mean by that is you're up and down. You can't decide what you want this team to be. Some of you guys are so inclined to say, oh, I told you so. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're not going to the playoffs. Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Right.
Don't talk about playoffs.
Yes.
You kidding me?
Yes.
Playoffs?
Right. I mean, some of you guys out there, I told you so. I told you they weren't going to be good. Really? The season's not over yet. It's 6-3. You got 7 games to go. I get it. I'm a pessimist, but goodness gracious, we got to have a suicide hotline for some of you people. I mean, honestly. Wow. Some of the comments I'm reading, I guess I just got to get off of Facebook, honestly. But Facebook kind of charges me up because it'll be these same fans that will be back on that bandwagon next week if the Bucs go in there and take care of business. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, they got a tough matchup versus the Carolina Panthers on the road. No freaking doubt. No doubt. We talked about this before. Every team is going to give the Bucs their best shot. You know why? Tom Brady. Because of the level of talent. Because of the absorbent, Leo Word, amount of weapons that fans seem to be complaining about. I bet you there's not a controversy with Mike Evans. I bet you there's not. Not after this weekend. All right, let's go back out to the comments here. We're only lost 2 teams this year. I keep faith for depth in the playoffs. Exactly. That's what I like to hear. I'm trying to gauge it tonight. This week has been pitiful. I mean, if there's any room for positivity, please give me some. Please. And it being Friday the 13th doesn't help. I'm a superstitious guy. I am. I've never had a good Friday the 13th. Hell, I went into the sales job today. Only 39 down from 4th bonus. 6 short. Here's the difference. 229 sales last week. 219 this week. And I got off to a good start. What's the whole premise of this? Well, it's not how you start. It's how you finish. But you have to have a complete game. I'm looking for it from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can they have a 4 quarters of a complete game? Can they not turn over the ball? They've shown it in the past. Didn't do a good job versus the Saints. You do it against any team, they're going to make you pay. So they got to clean up some things. Going back to it, I happen to think the Bucs are due. I'm just saying. With all the negativity around, with all the people saying, man, I doubt this team is going to make the playoffs now. Man, I told you so. This team's not good. They don't have enough depth. Depth? Really? Depth? Some key positions, but not every team has depth at offensive line. You get one injury, the offensive line. I mean, Tennessee Titans, totally different. Of course, they lose last night to the Colts. They lose a couple offensive linemen, but they're able to fill it. Not every team has depth in those positions. The running game, the run defense, concerning thing, once again. Without a Vita Vea. Yeah, you don't have Christian McCaffrey. That's a break this week. You still have a Mike Davis, who's been very productive. So what do you think, Bucs fans? Are you confident? Are you still on the bandwagon? Is it all in Super Bowl or Super Bowl and bust, as I've always said? I don't care. Look, I don't care if you criticize me all day long. You can tell me I'm wrong. Just wait till the friggin' season's over with, okay? And by the way, Johnny Dean, that whole premise on Thursday night of home games have the advantage, No, they don't. Because the Colts showed that last night with the beating of the Titans 34-17. So we'll talk about that. Talk about what your comments have here. One game at a time, Peter. Yeah, I hear that. I also see Ben, you troll. You're the guy that I'm talking about. You guys act like you're coaches, GMs. I love it. But you're not. There's a reason why you play the whole season. There's a reason. Everybody's so quick. You're so quick to pat yourself on the back. You pat yourself on the back so hard you hurt your hand. Season's not even over yet. I mean, give it a chance at least. Let this play out. All is not lost. Who's to say the Saints couldn't lose some games coming up? They always have difficulty with the Atlanta Falcons. Right? Atlanta Falcons playing well right now. They're going to give the Bucs a problem, right? Maybe. Maybe not. Not with that defense. That defense is god-awful. You can never rule them out. The point is, anything can happen in the National Football League. That's why it's not for long. That's why it's so enjoyable. If we're just going off of predictions all the time, then every team is going to beat everybody. That's it. No chance. Why even play the games? Bucs will finish 10-6, says Pocket Pool. Okay. I bet you they won't finish 10-6. How about that? How about that? I'll bet you they don't finish 10-6, Pocket Pool. You come on here. I tell you what, Pocket Pool, seeing as you like to play a lot of Pocket Pool here on the sports web, if the Bucs don't go 10-6, you come on this show and say, yep, Peter Blake, you were right. If they do, hell, I'll give you a segment. You can come on here. You can blab all day long. I'll get you on video. You can get on video. You can tell me that I'm a terrible sports broadcaster, that I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. How about that? They won't go 10-6. No way. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Here we come. I like sitting. Let me fire those cannons for him. Nothing but love. I know, Roger. I know. I'm in it for the long haul. Let's go Bucs. Absolutely. Ben, I agree, Peter. You're a pessimist, especially the first half of that word. You're an idiot. Ben, we have read Peter again. You have to tune in for that. You like when I get mad. And that's what you do. You get on Facebook and you write these little stupid comments and you go, oh, Peter's going to read that. Oh, he's going to read that. He's going to eat it all up. He's going to use it in his next monologue. And you're right. I probably am. It's great fuel for that fire. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as they beat the Panthers on Sunday, I'm going to be trolling that ass. And you guys are going to be quiet like crickets. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I look at the views when the Bucs win. You guys are nowhere to be found. Bucs lose. Oh my gosh. World is about to end. Jumping off the Skyway Bridge. Tom Brady is 63 years old. According to Will Mann, LaShawn McCoy is 41 years old. Everybody on this team is old, washed up. Everybody's stupid. BA is old. Jason Light's terrible again, but they win. Ooh, feels good, doesn't it? That victory Monday, it's coming. I guarantee it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. 6-3 is better than the 2-6. Thank you. Let the truth set you free. Would you rather have that team from last year? I mean, honestly, guys, I mean, I get it. It's a devastating loss, and you lose 2 to the Saints, but all is not lost at this point. It's not. Some of you just act like it. I swear. All right, what's wrong with one game at a time? They should always be the mindset, Peter. Great football teams have that same mindset. Oh, that's too easy. Because I heard you right on the post saying, oh, well, I don't know if this team's going to even make the playoffs now. Playoffs. Probably didn't say it like that. Saints got a pretty weak remaining games. They do. You're absolutely right. What happens if, let's just say theoretically, the Saints went out, the Bucs went out, the Bucs have to play on the road, but they're the hottest team in the NFL, and they got a general like Tom Brady, and their offense starts to come alive, and their defense is playing with confidence. What happens if possibly they go on the road and win all those games? Is that a possibility? I mean, have teams done that before? I don't know. Asking for a friend. Long time ago, Pittsburgh Steelers, did they go on the road, win all their games? I get it. History lesson. Now, we don't want to listen to history. We want the here and now. You don't have home field advantage, you're a bum. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can win both ways. And there have been teams that have home field advantage and lose because a team gets hot at the right time. It's what team is hot. Right now, the Bucs are ice cold after that Saints game. So where's your confidence level? 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. There was a reason I was skeptical about the Bucs. In the past 2 weeks have proven that they are not very good. Well, in the 2 weeks they beat the Giants, it was a close game, and they lost to the most likely eventual NFC South. So what are you skeptical about? I mean, that's what I don't understand. I mean, you guys want them to go, what, 16-0, 15-1? I mean, this team wins, what, 13 games, like I said? Let's see, they were 12 or 11. I'm trying to figure it out, guys. Try to help me out here. Let's go out to Todd. Todd, welcome to the Evolution. You're leading it off here on the Sports Web. You still have confidence in your Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers on Sunday?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Peter. And I don't know what the Buck fans are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everybody has a bad game. I have seen Michael Jordan have bad games. Not many.
Not many.
I've seen Michael Jordan have bad games.
Right.
I've seen LeBron James have bad games. Listen, it happens. But you don't give up on your team. If you're loyal to your team like I have been since 1976, all those years that we suffered, and I was still a fan, and I had hope every year, and I still rooted for my team. I'm a diehard, loyal Buccaneer fan.
Mm-hmm.
And these fans that are thinking one game and we're doomed and we're not going to make the playoffs, they need to get a reality check.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it all on Facebook. I've seen it all. We're not going to make the playoffs. This is why I thought they were. Yeah, William in the chat. Love you, William. I was skeptical about this team. Skeptical? They're 6-3. What are you talking about? Skeptical about what?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It is.
If you're, I have two teams that I've been loyal to all my life. I'm originally from Indiana. I got to meet Bobby Knight.
Okay.
I'm an Indiana Hoosier basketball fan, and I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneer football fan for life.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it a lot.
And listen, these guys, they're mad. They're going to get it together,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to show everybody. And I still don't think the New Orleans Saints are the best team in the NFC. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? You may be right about that, but right now, statistically, and what they've done to the Bucs this year, you would have to say they are. But look, the proof is in the pudding, right? The Bucs will have their opportunity if they can take care of their business, as Ben Cornette, the troll, would say, one game at a time. Take your one game at a time, win all those games, and then next thing you know, you're in a great situation where you're facing New Orleans, which, by the way, we kind of failed to mention this, but you're going on the road with basically no fans. I get it. They lost the first week, but you think about it in years past here, Todd, you go on the road, you have that fan base. It's a little bit different. There's an advantage there. There's no advantage here. So
no. And I was just looking at the Saints schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they've got 3 road games coming up. They've got San Francisco this week. They've got Atlanta at home. And then they've got 3 road games. Now, like you say, it don't mean much this year because of COVID. But listen, anything, like you say, anything can happen in the NFL. That's why you play. That's why you play the game.
Absolutely.
So they've got Atlanta, Denver, and Philly.
Exactly.
Now, does that scare them? Maybe not, but anything can happen.
Well, Philly's trying to be a playoff team. If they can ever get healthy, who knows? They may give some people fears. If Carson Wentz can get some time, I feel bad for the guy because the guy is committing a lot of turnovers, and the reason why is his offensive line is not blocking for him.
All right.
So
yeah, Philly's got some talent there.
Oh, of course they do.
They've had some injury problems this year, but this schedule. Let me get in the light here so I can tell you, Peter.
Yeah.
New Orleans. They've got San Francisco and Atlanta home, and they got Denver.
Mm-hmm.
They at Denver, at Atlanta, at Philly.
Okay.
And they're home to Kansas City, which won't be an easy game. Minnesota, they've got at home.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got at Carolina. And Carolina will give them a hard time. So,
sure they will.
So, all these fans that are thinking the Bucs are done, anything can happen. And Tom Brady, when he loses, usually the next game he comes out and he plays with fire.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want to be Carolina this weekend. They are good. They have some talent on that team. McCaffrey is out. That's going to help us.
Definitely going to help us, and it helps also the defense not being that good. And the defense wasn't that good against Tom Brady in the first matchup. Now you get him again, and you get him after a game where Brady was thoroughly embarrassed. This team was thoroughly embarrassed. I got to say it. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Bucs are going to come out determined.
I agree with you, Peter. I think it will too. I think they're mad. I think they're embarrassed.
Yep.
And they were embarrassed on national TV.
Sure.
And they do not want to be embarrassed again. That team has talent, offensively and defensively.
Sure.
You've got stars on that team. You've got Pro Bowlers on that team. These fans better wake up.
I agree.
If you're a true Buck fan, then you stand by your team. So we lost the game and we were embarrassed. Yes, it was ugly.
Right.
But you know what? You do not give up on your team.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying you can't be analytical about it. You can't analyze. You can't be critical. But to just say, "Oh, I told you so. I told you this team wasn't going to make the playoffs." Wait a minute. This team right now, the season ain't over yet. So stop patting yourself on the back. Stop trying to be right because you ain't getting anything out of by being right. You're not making any money off of it. You're not going to Vegas to gamble. You're not getting anything. You're not even getting views. You're coming to this show to get known. You're not doing it for yourself. Get out of here. So anyway, good stuff, Todd.
They're 6-3.
Yes.
They're not 3. They're not 3-6. They're
Right.
6-3.
Exactly.
And like the gentleman said a while ago on a comment, we've lost to 2 teams this year. We shouldn't have lost the Chicago game.
I agree.
It was a bad game.
Bad game to lose. Absolutely.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Yes.
And we didn't look real sharp against the Giants.
No,
But
they
you
didn't
know
look
what?
real sharp, but you won the game. That's what it comes down to. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right.
So
Todd,
you got
give me.
you got Brady, you got Godwin, you got Evans.
Yeah.
You got Scotty Miller on
Sure.
defense. You got Sue, Pierre-Paul, Levante, Devin White. I mean, these guys are great players.
Yeah.
They are Pro Bowl material players. And was I upset? I was upset. I was totally upset. When they lose, it hits my heart
Oh yeah.
because I love that team so much.
Of course. That's good. That's a good thing, man. Give me a prediction on, or unless you're going to wait till the pregame show. You're going to wait for the pre, or you're going to give me a prediction now?
I'm going to give you a prediction now.
All right.
I think the Bucs. I agree with you. I think the Bucs blow them out. I'm going to say 38-17.
I like it. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. Todd definitely used that second call. You always got one, and appreciate you being a webhead and being on the evolution of sports talk television, powered by 320solar.com. All right,
Peter, keep doing a great job, brother. I don't care what anybody says. You're doing an awesome job. Keep it up.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? It doesn't matter what you say, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be right, and sometimes I'm going to be wrong, but I'll still be here for you on the evolution of sports talk television, the sports web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Whether they win or they lose, no matter how late it is, Bucs Report in the sports web will be here for you to either be your psychologist or your psycho. Just saying. Okay, let's go out to pocket pool, especially me sometimes. Losses to KC. Split with Atlanta. I don't know about that. Did we watch Atlanta's defense this year? Why do we all of a sudden think Atlanta's going to be good? And then losses to either the Rams or the Vikings. Well, possibly, but the Rams game is at home. It's on Monday Night Football. Of course, the Bucs, they got to play better in prime time. Let's just put it out there. I mean, it's obnoxious. And thank God it's the last prime time game of the season. Not only because it's late and most likely will be out at the deck, which is not a bad thing, but we'll be out there late night, 11:30, midnight. Who knows? They win. Game ends 11:30. We'll be out there probably till 12:30, 1 o'clock. But also the Bucs and their problems with playing on primetime football. They still got a lot of young players on this team, but they got to get over it. They got to show the national audience that they are real. They do. So thank God that's the last game. The Rams, tough team. I didn't think they would be this good. I still don't think they're that good. And I think the Bucs defense can definitely shut them down, but it's a tough matchup. Vikings, Vikings, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins is inconsistent. Defense rebuilding, I'm not sure about that. Maybe the Rams. I won't give you the Vikings. The split with Atlanta, I think they can sweep Atlanta. KC's possibility they lose. So I still don't think they go 10-6, but okay. The great thing about it is, though, it looks like the NFL is going to expand the playoff field. So what do you think about that? Do you like that idea? Because that favors the Bucs, especially pocket pool there. Still playing pocket pool with himself. He thinks the Bucs are go 10-6. 10-6 gets you in. You heard the great Al Keck, Tampa Bay sports broadcasting legend. 40 years of sports broadcasting experience. All you got to do is get in, right? Get in. You're playing hot. You got the talent. You put it all together. Upsets on the road. So, hello, Peter, commenting from enemy territory, New Orleans. Mike, thanks a lot for calling or commenting in. Go ahead and troll that ass, Peter. I have the Bucs winning against Carolina anyway. Okay. I love being on here after a win. Good, William. We like when you're on here after a win. But I don't think there's everybody on here that's after a win. I notice that the views are a little bit sparse. Leo Word, I'm full of it tonight. They are. But boy, when they lose, whew, oh boy, this team stinks. This team stinks to high heaven. William says, I wish. Mike DeRoche. Remaining games: Saints, 49ers, Falcons, Broncos, Falcons, Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings, and Panthers. Got to play all the games, right? One game at a time. It is an easy schedule, but you never know. Just like the Bucs, the Saints have a target on their back. If they're supposedly the number one NFC team, what happens if Drew Brees gets hurt? Taysom Hill? You can call that run so many times. Jameis Winston come in there at quarterback? I'm just saying. Injuries happen in the NFL. So don't just rule it out and say, look, yes, I get it. Saints have 2 games on the Bucs, but all is not lost. But you're right. It is a favorable schedule. We'll see what they do this Sunday. Not possible, Peter. Anything is possible, my friend. Peter, you're completely off base. I'm saying that they wouldn't make the playoffs. I've hardly posted anything on the Bucs lately on here or my page. You've got me confused for other Bucs fans, bud. All right, Ben. I'm pretty sure I saw you on there. I'm pretty sure of it, buddy. We have to beat Carolina. Agree. Peter, they rushed 5 yards and scored 3 points. If you ain't skeptical about that, then good on you. I appreciate you. Well, William, what were you saying when Ronald Jones went for 3 straight 100-yard games? I didn't like the game plan. I agree with you, William. But come on, let's be a little bit fair. Let's not be completely off the rails here. Let's not think that the Bucs have a running game. They do. Of course, they have to use it. They did early on in the year with Ronald Jones. Do you remember? I do. The victim of volume. Why do I say that? Because he didn't get enough volume. Nobody in that running back room got any volume. I can guarantee you they'll be running the ball on Sunday, no matter what. It will be a big deal. It will be a priority. You can't just run the ball 5 times. You can't. No way. So, is there a concern? Yes, against the Saints throughout the year. Don't they have the talent? I think they do. Ronald Jones showed he could run. Leonard Fournette had a 43-yard run to close out the game. No running game? I didn't hear anybody say anything about that. Well, now we're talking. 38-24, Bucs over Carolina. Like it. William, the defense is lost right now. Defense is having a rough time, that's for sure. You get that confidence back this week. Although it doesn't help because it looks like the Bucs do have an injury situation with Carlton Davis and that knee. We'll see if that works out, how that works out. He may miss the game. So it puts the onus, Leo Ward, on Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean. It puts the onus on them. They have to come out and be better than they have been. Looking in the backfield, looking at the quarterback, not doing their job. Hopefully you're not playing zone. I think that's where your defense is lost right now, honestly. You know, Todd Bowles not doing what got the defense there. Ask Ricky Reynolds on Wednesday, why are they doing, am I wrong with saying they ran too much zone? No, you're not. They ran way too much zone. They were intimidated. Why? Play what you play. If you have confidence in your players, which I think this Bucs coaching staff does, but they didn't last Sunday night, play what you play. And again, it means getting after the quarterback, no matter who it is. Teddy Bridgewater, you get after him. You've seen it. First game, you get after him, cause an early turnover. Right? Changes the complexion of the game. Then you get another turnover early on in the game. Those are big. You got to cause turnovers. The Bucs are very good at that in the NFL. One of the top teams, I believe the top team in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. Sacks, getting after the quarterback. Didn't do it against the Saints. That's why you lose. Not just offense. The things that you do defensively. So they have the opportunity to do it against Teddy Bridgewater. They did it in the first game. Why can't they do it in the second game? Why can't they do it? They can. That's what I'm saying. Like, too much talent. Too much talent to give up. So, you know, I get it. The defense is lost right now. They lost to the Saints. I don't know if they're lost. I think there have been some breakdowns in coverage. Big time. Some communication troubles. The opportunity to get it worked out. They got to work it out. Because the wide receivers on the Carolina Panthers, you know, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, they're good. And they're fast. And they can have big plays. Trust me. So do you still have confidence in the Bucs versus the Panthers? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. I get it. I get it right now. You know, like when I come on this show and host, I've got to be a sports psychologist. I've got to calm you guys down a little bit. And then I got to rally you guys up. I got to be a cheerleader, a hype man, and a psychologist. I do. But I would say this. They didn't play well versus Saints. We know it. They had some defensive breakdowns versus the Giants. They let the Giants get back in the game. They can put it together versus the Panthers. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. The people who are mad are true Bucs fans. They're passionate and opinionated. I love that. And I always will say 3 words, right? Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. It's not something you just put on a t-shirt, which, by the way, we need to work on getting, but that's a true feeling. What I got upset about, William, is the fact of some of the posts that I saw was, I told you this team wasn't that good. After one loss, they're not that good? Really? What were you saying when they won 6? Nothing. You were saying absolutely nothing. But now you're saying something. Because you want to pat yourself on the back so hard. You want to be right about your team sucking. Which I never understood in a million years. Just like the quarterback, Jameis Winston, all the time. Some of those people cannot let it go. I'm in it too. Because I stirred up. I want to call them out. I don't understand it. There's fans in this fan base that want Brady to fail because of Winston. And I heard this week, oh, that's karma. He should have been eating a W on national TV. Really? You're a fan? You could have fooled me. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Honestly, if you feel that passionately about it, then either you're getting paid for it, you're going to Vegas and betting on the games, or you're a damn idiot. Because you gain nothing out of it. What do you get by being right? And you're not even right. The season's not even over yet. And you guys have declared them dead. Dead man walking for the Bucs because they lost to the Saints. Ridiculous. All right, read the more comments here. I honestly appreciate somebody that's passionate about it and that's mad about it. But keep it in perspective. Don't lose your freaking mind. They got 7 games to go. You take care of business versus the Panthers, you're at 7-3. Saints most likely will beat the 49ers. You may be chasing him all year long. You might not win a division. The Saints may win it because they have a 2-game advantage. Most likely, that's going to happen. But to say, well, this team is flawed, they have depth issues, this and that and the other thing, they're not going anywhere, season ain't over yet. You have injuries to the Saints, and then it changes the whole landscape. One injury, boom, just like that. One. Donovan Smith has to be cut. Fat chance. That's not happening. And you guys have been talking about this forever. It ain't going to happen. Donovan Smith is going to be the left tackle on this team. It is just like Lovie Smith talking about Rex Grossman being his quarterback. Rex Grossman is our quarterback. Donovan Smith is the offensive tackle. He is the left tackle unless Bruce Arians and Jason Light goes in a different direction. So you're going to have to live with it. You're going to have to live with the good and the bad. Donovan Smith has something in common with a lot of Bucs fans. Bipolar, inconsistent, up and down. Up and down. Definitely a matchup you have to watch on Sunday. Definitely. So it's not going to happen. Sorry, Mike. Best advantage for the Bucs opponents have the last 7 weeks is AB. Brady is going to try to force feed him the ball instead of doing his normal progression. I don't know about that. But I know there were moments in the game, you look back at it, pocket pool, where AB was open. He just didn't have time to throw the ball. You know, we talk about it all the time. It seems like it's not a big deal. You know, you're so used to it. You're so used to a quarterback being without an offensive line. Oh, wait, you have to have an offensive line. You have to give the quarterback more than 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball. You give him that extra time, he's able to find AB, different game. Different ball game. Is he trying to force feed it? I don't know. Maybe that was Bruce Arians. Maybe that was Byron Leftwich. Why do we assume that it was just Tom Brady at that point? Why do we assume that? Maybe that was the game plan. I mean, I don't know. Chris Godwin has a fractured finger. He's not 100% yet. He's an integral part, but he's not 100%. So maybe they thought their best chance was to go to an AB. Guess what? It didn't work out. It didn't work out anywhere, especially with Mike Evans, which we'll talk about. We'll hear for what Tom Brady had to say today. Peter, the Giants game was awful as well. We have been ran over the past 2 weeks. We really missed. Hey, I get it. You still won the Giants game. I mean, it's amazing to me. You guys act like that's a loss. That's a win. That's a tough road victory on prime time. It's a victory. It's not a loss. Would you rather be a loss? Would you rather be it last year where you lost 32 to 31? Something along those lines. What is it, 33-31? 32-31? So many points put up in that game. Man, that was so pretty. But boy, when they come down to a field goal from Matt Gay, he missed it. You want that? Or you want to win a 25-23 slobber knocker? Ugly game, but it's still a win. A win is a win. I get your concerns. I do. I get it. So we got Fred the Corp coming up here. He's in the lobby. We'll read the rest of these comments. I'm just saying, where's your confidence level tonight? You know, are you guys trying to pat yourselves on the back so hard to be right about this team? Really, what do you gain? You know, if this team fails, you fail. You're coming on the show and talking about how bad the team is. You feel miserable. That's what you want? Not me. Hell, I got tired of that stuff last year. Did you get tired of those losses? Did you get tired of talking about interceptions? Which consequently, Brady had this week. Not a good thing. No matter what quarterback, you can't turn over the ball. But did you guys get tired of that? I did. I get tired of talking about losing. So for me, when fans are saying, oh, season's over with, man. It's over, baby. Nail in the coffin. BS. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Let's see. Saints are not good in the playoffs. Exactly. Sit and say it again. Goodness. Say it for the people and the back. How many times have the Saints choked? Would you like to be a Saints fan? Yeah, you make the playoffs, but every year you get somewhere and you lose. You lose in the NFC Championship game, albeit, the refs, they need to go to lens crafters that day because they missed the pass interference call. I get that. You lose to the Vikings. You lose to the Vikings because you can't tackle the wide receiver and Stephon Diggs. So it's not like you. Look, the Saints win the division and get the number 1 seed. They can't choke? Oh, really? Look back in history. I'm better we got blown out. Unfortunately, hope they prove me wrong. All right. Mike, true, but Vea wasn't present for the whooping we gave Green Bay. Exactly. 38-14 says Mike. William, having a negative opinion about our team has nothing to do with being a true fan. I've been a fan since day one, and I've watched every game, win or lose, every Sunday ticket came out. Again, let me clarify it to the fans out there. I don't mind you having a negative opinion. What I do mind is keeping it in perspective. You go from this team as the greatest of all time, that they could be the greatest team in the Super Bowl era since the Bucs went to the Super Bowl, to this team is trash. They're barely going to make the playoffs. I knew it. Told you so. Season over. Let's talk about the draft. I don't want to talk about the draft. I don't give a crap about the draft. I don't give a crap about losing. Because I don't want to be wrong. That's what it comes down to. So, all right, we'll read these comments and then we will get Fred in here. I know he has a lot of things to say. And whether you agree or not, I love that. I love disagreement. I love different perspectives. Sitting here and saying one thing and agreeing with everybody is nonsense. It is a boring show. Please kill me now. Shoot me. All right. We appreciate your passion. I appreciate you, William. Thank you. Antonio, we're not going to lose against Atlanta. We will win 3 of our remaining games, in my opinion. We can beat Minnesota. LA Rams game is a toss-up. I think we can beat KC. Atlanta is a possible swap. We can beat every team on this schedule. I hate that idea. I want us to get in the playoffs legitimately. Well, legitimate or not, you get to the playoffs, you get in. Playoffs? So let me hear from Jim Mora again.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Playoffs?
Yeah.
You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yes. A lot of fans saying that this week. A lot of you guys have wives out there. I feel bad for your wives. Goodness gracious. How'd they put up with you? Well, that's probably why I'm not married. All right, that's because the bandwagon fans don't come on here after a win. There you go. Run, Leonard, run. Marpet good to go on Sunday. Looks that way. That'll be a big bonus, won't it? I love to see Ellie Marpet play in the left guard spot. I've been saying that Jones should be our main back. Stop pulling him. Every little mistake messes with guys' confidence. Jones can be a great back for us. I'm not impressed with Fournette. That zone was trash. I agree with that. Definitely. Not sure the coaches have learned their lesson. We'll see. If they don't, they'll learn it the hard way. Let's see here. Pocket pool. Ronald Jones is good until he coughs up the ball on Arians, puts him on the pine for 2 quarters. It's a broken record. There's easy fix with that pocket pool. You don't turn over the ball. I mean, no player turns over the ball. You don't turn over the ball. There's accountability issues here. So let's see. We better not get out-coached by Matt Rule. Good coach. Major breakdowns all over the field for the last 2 weeks. They don't have a clue right now. I think some people are making adjustments. They just have to make adjustments. I'm not ready to give up on them. Philadelphia Eagles are not that good in the playoffs. Sitting. Seahawks defense not that good in the playoffs. Peter Rants are the best. Thank you, Roger Shue. Appreciate you. Didn't say anything because I'm not fully on board with this team yet. They need to prove our time to win my confidence. I could care less about being right. I wish we go 16-0. Fair enough. Not jumping on the hype train until they start being consistently good. True good. Donovan Smith will be cut after the season. Certainly a possibility. Why would you call yourself Pocket Pool? Just saying. No idea that's his name. I know his mom didn't give him that, but, he wants to be funny, so he's funny. How many seconds is Brady going to have with Aaron Donald blowing up the pocket? Not much. Well, how many seconds did Jameis Winston have last year when that offensive line did a collective great job? And we'll get that breakdown when they play the Rams of last year. A phenomenal job by that offensive line, even Donovan Smith. I think they can handle it. I do. Misador, sorry, I'm late watching my high school team end the playoffs. It's okay. Better late than never. Let's see. William, we need to get the short passing game going. And where is the imagination on offense? Also stick with the running game with Jones. Antonio, Tampa fans make me sick just complaining about everything. Damn. Ugly wins, ugly losses all looked good. Same as wins and close L's. Was a victory by sheer luck. Good running wide open all over the place. We're 6-3 for a reason. It's good with the bad. Getting swept by the Saints stung, but we have to move forward. Misador, Bucs win by double digits on Sunday. Geez, Peter, I just start painting candy canes and roses after horrific loss from now on. Not saying that, but I'm saying, don't try to jump off the Skyway Bridge if they lose to the Saints, okay? That's all I'm saying. Keep it in perspective. At least the Saints got to the playoffs. Okay, and they lost. They choked. Looks like Tampa Bay is going this year. I never said that, Peter. I never said you did. William, there's plenty of room in the Saints fan kingdom. Connie says, never seen so much anger at a 6-3 team. That fumble was Brady's fault. On what? Well, okay. All right, let's go out to Fred, the core pair. Welcome to the Evolution. Glad to have you here. I've talked to you on the phone before. What's going on, man? I mean, this is how I'm feeling tonight. And I asked fans out there if they're confident versus the Panthers. And a lot of it, I got to believe, is it's just a lot of negativity. Can you make any sense of this? I get it. They lost to the Saints, but welcome to the Evolution.
Well, nice to have you. Nice having me, Peter.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, buddy. So, what do you think about this game versus the Carolina Panthers? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's no Christian McCaffrey, so I mean that's a bonus for us. I mean, but we got to go out and execute. I mean, that's plain and simple, man. We got to play bucketed football. we got to run the football, and we got to establish play action after the run. I mean, we can ill afford to have Brady back there throwing the ball 50 times a game. I mean, we just can't win. It's just not sustainable. So we must establish the run. The offensive line, they got to man up, and they have to push their defender back. That's just simple as that. We got to win the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. You look at that Saints game, Fred, and it was real ugly, especially on Donovan Smith. And I hear a lot of fans say, cut Donovan Smith. And I keep on telling them, look, you're going to have to ride out with him because that's what the Bucs are going to do. They're not going to replace him with the Joe Haig. There's no way to make a trade right now. There's not left tackles on trees. They're not going to switch Tristan Wirfs from the right side to the left side. So
no, you don't do that.
Right. So what are your thoughts on this offensive line with Ali Marpet getting back there? I mean, how important is it to get Ali Marpet after the game the other night?
Well, he's by far our best offensive lineman. I mean, he's been a stud. He's allowed like 0 sacks. He's only had like 2 penalties the entire season. He's the most consistent lineman we got, and he just very reliable. But truth be told, the coaches have to scheme up an offensive game plan to compensate for the inadequacies on the line. There's some inept play at left tackle. We know who that is. So we have to scheme up a game plan with Brady that gets the ball out of his hand quick. That way he doesn't get exposed as much. I mean, we're too far in the season. You can't replace a guy at this point. So we literally have to live and die with Donovan Smith for the rest of the season. There's just no way around it. So all the coaches can do is scheme up game plans to counter him not being able to hold his man for 3 seconds. I mean, because it's very crucial that you at least got to sustain a block for 3 seconds. If you can't do that, Brady's going to be on his behind the entire game, which we've seen in the Chicago game. I mean, in the Chicago game, Brady got hit I don't know how many times. But I know in this past Saints game, he was pressured 19 times. And, I mean, you can't win a game when your quarterback is under duress 19 times. I mean, that's 19 times that he had the ball in his hand and the defender was in or around his legs. I mean, you can't win that way.
No, you can't. You definitely can't win that way. And we're on with Fred the Corp. Can you go ahead and promote yourself a little bit in case somebody wants to find you, read your work? I heard you do a blog. I mean, tell everybody about Fred the Corp and why they should find you on Facebook.
Well, I was born in Tampa, Tampa General Hospital. I love the Bucs, man. I've been a fan very, very since I was young. So this team it means a lot to me, and very passionate about the team. So I try to do my little blog thing and write my opinions and stuff, about how I feel. A lot of people follow me, so a lot of people like hearing my opinion. Sometimes it's controversial, sometimes it's not. A lot of people upset with me last week about some things I said, but hey, you live and you learn. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I do my thing on there. I used to be on YouTube, but not on YouTube as much. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the team, man. I love the team, and very passionate about everything that goes on in the organization, good or bad.
I agree with that. And like I was telling a lot of fans, and I'm not criticizing, but I am to a certain degree with some of the Facebook posts that I saw in the Buck groups. It's almost like once they lost to the Saints, then all hope was lost. The season's over with. The season's over. What did you say, by the way? Refresh everybody about what you had to say that was controversial, because I want to hear this.
Well, I went on a little rant about Jameis Winston, with the celebrating, because I just felt like the organization, they did so much for him and stuff. And I was a little mad at the time. So I just went off about that. And a lot of people are Winstoneers, Winston fans. And, but how I feel, if these fans, these Bucs fans who like Jameis so much, go be a Saints fan, because we're here to ride and die for the Bucs. This is our season. And we rooted for Jameis when he wore the pewter and red, but now he's wearing gold and white and black And we can't rock with that. I'm not gonna be no Saints fan because of Jameis. No, that's never gonna happen. But I just felt like I understand celebrating a little bit after the win, but he just went a little overboard, and it got the best of me.
Yeah, a little bit disrespectful. And to me, what bothered me is it showed his immaturity, because I've been a Winston fan. I've been a Winston defender. But he really, Fred, he had nothing to do with the win. I could see he had nothing to do with it, but he had nothing to do with it. And on top of it, you're basically still in the spotlight from your starting quarterback. Drew Brees. I don't understand.
Yeah. Drew Brees is interviewing, and Winston is eating a W all in the camera, like he was instrumental for the victory, when we all know that he played no role in the victory at all.
None. Yeah, none. Are people making too much of this controversy or supposed controversy with the chemistry issues with Mike Evans and Tom Brady? In fact, let me read these comments from Tom Brady today from his presser. He's a spectacular player, and I think from my perspective, it's just me giving him opportunities to touch the ball, catch it, and figuring out differently ways based on different styles of defense we're getting to enable him to touch it. He also said he's an incredible player when he gets it. He's an incredible player before he gets it. We're working hard at it again. I wish I would make every throw exactly the way I want. The only thing I can say is we're trying to get it right, trying to figure out how to get everybody involved and put together a lot of different pieces that have never been together, including myself. Is that fair? To me, that's what it comes down to. And I get it. There have been times where this offense looks so good, and then there's offensive times where it just looks offensive, and people have to understand you didn't have a preseason, you didn't have a training camp, you're putting all these new pieces together, you have Antonio Brown. So are people making too much of a big deal? Do you honestly think there's a rift between Mike Evans and Tom Brady?
Well, this is the thing. Tom Brady wants to spread the ball. But not only does he want to spread the ball, but he wants to get everybody involved. And I think that he knows that Mike Evans is a number one receiver, but Mike Evans is different from the number one receiver Tom Brady has played with in the past. For example, Randy Moss. Randy Moss and Mike Evans, they are two totally different receivers. Mike Evans is more of a possession type of receiver who he's going to run and get the first down and fall down. And he's not going to do the deep ball. Now, he will do the deep ball if he's open, but that's not his game. Mike Evans' game is the intermediate routes, in the middle, crossing routes, slants. That's Mike Evans. All that deep ball stuff, Mike Evans, he's down for it, but that's not really his game. He's not a Randy Moss. I think Brady thought that he probably thought that Mike Evans would be that down the field deep threat. And once he realized that, he started feeling that he needs to make chemistry with other players. And I think that's what a riff is, or the should I say the misunderstanding. It could be as simple as he just needs to know Mike Evans' strengths. Now, if Brady is throwing an intermediate route, he needs to be looking. His first check should be Mike Evans, because that's where Mike Evans can use that big body and catch passes in the middle, take hits, and be able to get that first down. That's the strength of our offense, to be honest. I mean, because Mike Evans is literally unstoppable going across that middle.
What did you think of the game plan in general with the Bucs? I mean, 5 carries in the running game. One of those counted as Blaine Gabbert kneeling down, and then they're throwing to Antonio Brown, who's just coming in, 39 snaps. So what was your thought process on the game? You can't run the ball 5 times in a game and expect to win, right?
No. That's not very logical, and that's just not very sustainable. Now, the NFL, all the rules in the league are tailored to these offenses to score a lot of points. The NFL has changed the rules for the quarterback. All these offensive, they want a faster paced game. It's easier for these teams to go up and down the field and score points because, the NFL wants to include fantasy football. They have a lot going on. They have the Sunday ticket. They have the red zone. So they need these teams to be in the red zone or within the 20-yard line, relatively easy. So by Byron Leftwich not being able to establish the run, it's very mind-boggling that he would. But he's done that in the past, though. If you go back to 2019, there's at least 3 games where Ronald Jones was averaging almost 8 or 9 yards a carry, about 7 or 8 yards a carry, and then after halftime, Leftwich, he changed the entire game plan and went pass heavy. And I think when things tend to not go well for the Bucs offensively, I think Brian Leftwich panics, and by him panicking, the running game suffers all the time. He thinks that he has to dial up these deep balls. He's like, oh my God, the sky's falling. The sky's falling. We have to do deep ball, deep ball, deep ball. But in reality, the offense would be very, very much sustainable if we were to nickel and dime down the field with intermediate routes, slants, things of that nature, versus always we should never be throwing the deep ball on a 3rd and 3. We threw a deep pass on 3rd and 3. That really pissed me off because you literally could have just got the first down, and that's the most important thing at that moment was getting the first down, not to go down the field 40, 50 yards down the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I didn't get about the game plan. You're on 3rd and 3. It should be manageable. It's either short or intermediate. And we're on with Fred the Corp here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. If you got a question for him, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's talk about this defense, a very beleaguered defense. In fact, they had a lot of blown coverages against the Giants. And as I said, if you had a professional quarterback not named Daniel Jones, more than likely you get beat up, and then it happens again against Drew Brees. What are your concerns about this defense, and why do they continue against the Saints, especially to run a zone defense and to not blitz? It just doesn't make any sense here, Fred. This is what they're good at. They're good at playing man-to-man coverage, physicality, aggressive, and getting after the quarterback by blitzing. Why have they changed that all of a sudden, in your opinion?
Well, Peter, what I've learned is that our secondary is very young, Peter, and they get a little bit of success and they let it get to their head. And by them letting it get to their head, their technique and the communication gets thrown out the window. Like, for instance, Jamel Dean, Mr. Pick 6 on Aaron Rodgers, which was phenomenal play, but ever since then, his play has declined because every game after that, he thinks that he can gamble and take all these chances. When in reality, he probably got lucky. Because if you look at Aaron Rodgers' stats after he played the Bucs, he's literally the number 1 quarterback in the league. After he played Tampa. So that's to show you that it could have been more of a coverage thing versus Jamel Dean actually having the skill to pick 6 Rodgers. So what needs to happen is players like Jamel Dean need to focus back on technique, and then that let the technique handle how you play on the field versus don't get too cocky and think that every single play don't get bit on, because he likes to bite. So don't get baited. So I think quarterbacks are learning to bait our young defenders in the secondary. So what Todd Bowles needs to do is sit his whole secondary unit down and tell them that quarterbacks have learned that you guys like to bite. So that's why they're doing a lot of receiver routes with double moves, and because our cornerbacks are getting lost in there. They're getting lost in the sauce, so to speak, of Michael Clayton. But we definitely got to get back to just sound football, and they have to communicate with each other in that secondary, because the linebackers are even getting lost. I mean, you see Levante David, he knows that defense in and out. There's no reason why Levante David, after a play, he's looking around like, where was my help? Because that shows you right there that the secondary is not in sync. There's issues back there. So we definitely got to tighten that up. I mean, we will not go far this year if this secondary don't communicate with each other.
Now, it looks like after losing to the Saints, of course, the Saints have the 2-game advantage. You don't think the Saints falter possibly? Do you think the Bucs are in danger of losing some of these games coming up, or are you still confident in this team going forward?
Well. First of all, Peter, let me just tell this to the mass of people. I don't know if a lot of Bucs fans know this, but in the last 20 meetings with New Orleans, we have lost 15 times. We've only beaten the Saints 5 times in the last 20 meetings. So I don't know if that's just a microcosm of that franchise just always having our number. But we've not done good against the Saints in a very long time, or at least we haven't been consistent with winning against that franchise. I don't know what it is. They just have our number. But I think the fans should not be enamored with the fact that the fact that we lost 2 games to the Saints, because in reality, when you look at it, we've always been losing to the Saints. It really doesn't change our destiny for this year. So the fans need to calm down. There's still a lot of football to be played. It's a division game that we needed to win, yes, but it's not the end of our season because we got swept by the Saints.
Thank you.
It's not. So I think that people need to calm down. They need to put things in perspective and understand that we just historically don't play well against that franchise. I mean, when you lose 15 times to the same franchise, that's history telling you that we just historically don't play well against them. But that's not the end of our season. We still have a lot of football to go.
What's your opinion on Tom Brady and his play this year? A lot of doubters out there, a lot of national media saying his arm is dead, he's done, he's washed up. I get it, he had 3 interceptions versus the Saints, but you have to be happy with what he's done with the Bucs in the short amount of time, right?
All right, yeah, Peter. So another thing here, Peter. What a lot of fans, I think the Bucs fans understand this, but a lot of the media and a lot of people don't understand that Tom Brady is literally every week playing with a different lineup. He's got different players in and out that lineup every week. I mean, if you look at the first 5 weeks, he had new players in that lineup that he never played with every single game. I mean, so he hasn't really had a chance to have all his weapons on the field at the same time. He hasn't had a chance to have like consistency at the wide receiver position because it's been a turnstile. I mean, we've had receivers in and out. We've reached down to what, our 5th string receiver? We've been down to our 5th string receiver. I mean, it's remarkable that Tom Brady was able to win NFC Player of the Month dealing with all those circumstances. I think he's done a fantastic job. Now, he didn't do good the last game. I thought he played like crap. But is that the entirety of his whole season? No. Is that just a small sample of just the team just played bad? I think so. I feel that once Chris Godwin, I mean, I'm not too confident with that finger. I honestly think that he should be benched until that finger gets better. But he's got Chris Godwin back. I mean, I don't know if he's just a clone out there, decoy. But he's definitely got to get the ball to Mike Evans. But I think he's done a great job dealing with the circumstances, the different players in and out the lineup. I mean, there's not much you could really do. The offensive line has been inconsistent somewhat. So I mean, I feel like he's done a lot.
With Antonio Brown, he had flashes of brilliance. We could see the potential. You could see the potential with the receiver when he's committed to putting it on the field. Do you think he makes an impact this week versus the Panthers, who have been susceptible to a passing offense in the Bucs? Of course, have all these weapons. We talk about Godwin and Evans, and of course Antonio Brown. Do you think Brown makes an impact this week versus the Panthers, in your opinion?
Well, I read a report that I don't know how true this is, but Bruce Arians wanted Brown to have less snaps in the offense. I don't know how true that is, but I think Bruce Arians is a little frustrated with the situation because obviously I don't think it was his idea to bring Antonio Brown on board. It's probably over his head, but hey, he's here now. I think that they will devise a game plan to utilize him to his strengths. Also, I feel that they will not try to force feed him the ball because you gotta let it come. You gotta let it genuinely happen. You can't force it. That's what I think they tried to do in the last game. They tried to force it a little bit, and Mike Evans was open on some plays, and he might have got overlooked. And I think that's where a lot of the fans were talking about the divide from Brady and Evans. But I think that Antonio Brown, obviously, he's a rare talent in this league, and anytime you have a guy like that on the field, he can go from 0 to 100 in no time. So you got to have him out there. As far as the game plan go, though, I would still focus the game plan around Mike Evans, if me personally.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would think that they're going to focus around Mike Evans. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out like Jameis Winston last year, where he threw the first pass to Mike Evans and they got intercepted because he basically Carolina that he was going to do that. But definitely, there's going to be a place I could see them getting the ball to Mike Evans. I saw last week with Brown lining him up in the backfield, trying to use him in that way. And I think it's very interesting to see going forward how they're going to basically use him. With that all being said right now, how do you feel about this matchup? Give me a prediction. Bucs versus the Panthers. Who wins and why?
Well, I think, like I said, had the Panthers had Christian McCaffrey, he played phenomenal last week. But I got to give the slight edge to the Bucs. The Bucs are the healthier team, and I feel that if we're able to contain Mike Davis, this backup running back, I think Teddy Two Gloves, I don't think he has enough to overcome, and I don't think he has it in him to win the game. He needs that running game to help him. But the Bucs absolutely have to win the battle of the line of scrimmage on the defensive end, and if we control the line of scrimmage defensively, it will force Teddy Two Gloves to pass. And that's a weakness for that team. To have Teddy Bridgewater passing that much is actually a bad thing. So I would go and say that the Bucs will win the game. We'll probably win 28 to about 13, 28-13.
I like it. I like it a lot. Fred the Corp, thanks a lot for coming on here. The evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web, powered by 320solar.com. And if you're local, we definitely got to get you out to the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol. We do our pre, half, and post-game editions of the evolution of Sports Talk Television, all right?
Yes, sir. Hey, right. Thanks for having me, Peter, man.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure, and definitely don't be a stranger here on the Sports Web, all right, boss?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. Thanks a lot. Fred the Core right there here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's go ahead, take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we will have Tyler Brashaw, or Brashaw, if I can pronounce his name. I can never pronounce the kid's name at all. I feel so bad. Newest member here of Bucs Report. Keep it locked here on the Sports Web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television, powered by 320solar.com. We'll be back.
Doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart till it's almost white. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. That was the DSS, the Daniela Styling Studio. Take it from me. I went out there, got my hair cut, got the massage, got my beard trimmed up. Great experience. Definitely worth the price of admission. Go ahead. If you go out there, tell her that Bucs Report, the Sports Web, and Peter Blake sent you. Feel good, man. Every guy needs it. You need a good haircut, need a good beard trim. It's DSS Daniela Styling Studio here on the Sports Web. Let's go out to the webheads, and then we'll get Mr. Tyler Brashaw on, newest member of Bucs Report. So let's see here. Where do we leave off with you guys? Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. The fumble was Brady's fault. I think we left off with that. Tampa Bay fans relax, and Tom Brady, I trust. Pocket Pool says, warm weather dome teams don't win on the road at cold weather locations. If the Bucs don't secure home field, they better play indoors or somewhere warm. Look, if you have a running game, you have a defense, you can win. I get what you're saying about warm weather teams, but you could say the same thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002, as they had a miserable record and at times looked miserable when they played cold in the cold conditions. But when they went on the road with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game, how'd they play? Aces. It can be done. I've seen it done. And all that stuff about them not being able to play in cold weather. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they could not play in California. Something like a 1-14, 1-15 record. Guess what, Pocket Pool? They won their Super Bowl in San Diego. So enough with the whole superstition thing. We talking about superstition Friday the 13th. That superstition goes by the wayside in the playoffs and the postseason if you can run the ball and play defense. I still think this team can play defense. I can't stand the 8s. All right. If we lose by 50 or 1 point, it's still just one loss. Check it out, Fred the Core. Absolutely check him out. Go follow and like. Have to cover the tight end. Agree with that. Tampa fans are just tired of losing. I get it. I understand you're tired of losing. I'm tired of losing. I don't want to talk about losing. But I will say, keep it in perspective. It's one game, right? Tom Brady would do a better job coaching Bruce. Antonio says Winston is the backup water boy. Winston fans kick rocks. This is Tom Brady's team. William says, I think Brown signing really messed up the psychological aspect of our team. I'm not ready to say that yet. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any whispers. You heard of Mike Evans when he was interviewed on Monday Night Football. He was asked about it. He said he would fit in perfectly with the team. I think people are making too much of a big deal about it. Was the game plan catered to him? To a certain degree. Was that a little bit odd? Yeah, a little bit, because it didn't work out. But what if it did work out? What if he did give Brady the time to throw the ball? Then there will be a different tune here. So I'm not ready to say that. William Evans is a 50-50 wide receiver. He's not a burner. He's not. Make sure you definitely like and follow Fred the Core there. Misador says Chiefs game will be a struggle. Brady's arm will fall off. We keep throwing that many times in the game. I agree. You can't throw that many times. You got to have balance to your offense. We talked about it last year with Winston. Brady's arm will fall off with 7 rings. Misador, Evans wasn't open the entire game. Check out Blake's tape. There was times he was open. I know Blake did a breakdown, but there were times he was open. I can guarantee you. I looked it up. He was open. He was open down the seam, screaming for the ball, and Brady didn't look. And even Brady said that he tried to get him the ball. So he was open to a certain degree. Definitely join us for the Deck Bar and Grill, Nisla de Sol. Fred, Tom Brady played 20 years in the cold. We will be okay. Best comment of the night. that spread the core. I like it. 2002 unicorn the past 20 years. No, it doesn't matter. Every year Brady, they're talked about a team can't win. A team can win when they're ready to win. When they run the ball, they play defense, that travels. That travels on the road. Let's see here. The players want a minute anything. I'm sure deep down they're not happy with the Browns signing. I don't know why. Why would you not be happy if it makes the team better? And I get it. Everybody talking about the Mike Evans stat of where he wants to eclipse Randy Moss. But at the end of the day, he wants to win games. He's tired of not being in the playoffs. He wants to win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, and he has an opportunity. So I'm not sure if the players are upset about a player being on the team that can improve it. All right, let's go out to Mr. Tyler Bradshaw here, newest member of Bucs Report, and a special guest here, my co-host on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. He'll be with us at the Deck Bar and Grill. Of course, best of the Bay, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. How you guys doing tonight? What's going on?
All right, fellas. I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, how are you doing with your Bucs Report shirt on this Friday night?
I'm good, brother. And Tyler, it's good to see you too.
You too, Mr. Ray. You too.
I feel like you're once again the pilot. Go ahead and give me your best pilot there. Calm everybody down a little bit because everybody's all up in arms about the Bucs losing to the Saints. Calm us down here, Tampa Bay Ray.
Kind of ladies and gentlemen, just put your seats in an upright position as this plane will be starting our descent into Charlotte, North Carolina Airport, where the Buccaneers will be kicking the Panthers' asses on Sunday by the score of 34-17.
I love it. I love it. All right, so guys, let me ask you, Tyler, because I was asking the fans, do you still have confidence in this Bucs team to take care of business the rest of the season after that Saints debacle?
I do. I mean, I still have confidence. This team is still the most talented. If you look at this team on paper, they're still the most talented team on paper. They just got to get it clicking. I mean, and I still don't think, with all the injuries that this team has played enough games to be clicking on all cylinders. But there's so much talent on this team that it's going to get going. Obviously, that loss against the Saints last week it hurt in terms of winning the NFC South, but this is far from over. We're still 6-3, no matter how you look at last week. We're still got, and we do have to accept that the Saints do have a light schedule. They do run into the Chiefs just like us, but other than that, their toughest part of the schedule is behind them already. So we still got to focus on winning games. Hopefully, get out of here at 13-3, but confidence is still high in this team. I still see us finishing at 12-4, 11-5, and making a bunch of noise when it counts late in the year.
What about you, Tampa Bay Ray? How do you feel? Do you still feel confident this team can take care of business with the rest of the schedule? Of course, you got the Carolina Panthers coming up on Sunday. You have the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football, our last primetime game. Kansas City, Atlanta twice, Minnesota. Can they take care of business? Do you think this team is still, in your opinion, and it has an opportunity to win the NFC South?
100%. And let me tell you something. The Eagles are getting healthy at the right time. And when I first looked at that Saints schedule the rest of the way, and I'm like we said last week at the Deck Barn Grill in the post game, that both teams play similar schedules. We're playing the AFC West. We play our divisional games, and they draw the Eagles. We drew the Giants. The Giants did give us a pretty good game, but the Eagles are getting healthy at the right time. And let me tell you something about 2020. One team has to travel. So from that standpoint, if the NFL is not looking at a playoff bubble, as was floated out there a couple of months or a month and a half back, of maybe having a Texas and a California or some site maybe for a playoff bubble, which I think is still kind of out there. I actually think that before you start talking about a playoff bubble, I think, of course, we're all crossing our fingers and getting through 2020, but I think you have a better chance of there being 8 actual teams seated in both conferences for the playoffs. And by that standpoint, by that standpoint alone, the Buccaneers stand a better chance.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
But by those standards alone, the Buccaneers stand a chance. Now, as far as winning the NFC South, obviously they beat the Saints last weekend. We're in a driver's seat. We're not controlling our own destiny, if you will, like Tyler was just alluding to. But I still think that we still have a shot. There's still 7 games to go, and there's still a lot of football to be played, and it's all about matchups.
It's all about matchups, and going to this matchup on Sunday, you have the Panthers, and of course the Bucs beat them for one of the first games of the season, 31-17. Tyler, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like it possibly could be a blowout because this team is so upset and because of Tom Brady and his record after losses? He usually comes out firing. Do you believe that, or could it be a close game, which nobody expects?
I think this team I think they should, or anyway, they should have a fire lit under their asses after last week. And I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win. And I just feel like, but the one thing I still worry about, and I think we all still worry about, is what offensive line is going to show up. Is it going to be the Packers game offensive line, or is it going to be last week's offensive line? So it really relies on them. Tom Brady's going to be able to get it going as long as he has time to get rid of the ball, as long as his receivers have a little bit of time to get open. But I see it being a pretty convincing win. I'm somewhere right around what the Raiders game looked like, the Packers game. And this locker room needs it. They need a big win just to reset themselves and give them that confidence back that, we're still this team, we're still this talented, and we still can make a lot of noise in this season. So I think it's time for that. And like you mentioned, when Tom Brady takes big losses, he almost takes it personally, and you can see him come out the next week and just kind of rattle teams and pick them apart. Possession by possession. I think it was 2014. The Chiefs came in and beat the Patriots, stomped them, and then from there on out, we knew what happened. Tom Brady kind of took over the league. They won the Super Bowl that year, and that's kind of what the feeling I'm getting now. But we can't look past the upcoming schedule, as Tampa Bay Ray was just talking about. We still have the Falcons, who look good, coming up, but as for this week, I see it being a big win, as long as that offensive line can hold up, and we're getting Alley back, it sounds like. So I think that's where we really hurt last week, and I think personally that he helps Donovan Smith a lot more over there than we typically notice, and I think it kind of showed last week.
I mean, that's a great point, and Tyler brings up what offensive line Tampa Bay Ray do you think shows up on Sunday, and how big is Ali Marpet coming back to this line going to be against the Panthers?
Well, like now we're finding out, right, that Ali Marpet's as much an important component of that offensive line as Chris Godwin is of the receiving corps. Yeah. We see when Chris Godwin goes out with the injury 2 weeks ago, and we see that the fact that the Buccaneers drop off in production on the offense. And we're going back to that first game, that second week when we played against Carolina here at Raymond James Stadium. One of the things we forget, and I was writing an article about this today, and I was just doing a bunch of the back research on the last game, is that Leonard Fournette had over 100 yards. He had over the century mark that game. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that Leonard goes in for Rojo, but we got to remember something that was missing so badly last Sunday night, but we need to see at 1 o'clock this Sunday from Bank of America Stadium there in Charlotte, and that is the Buccaneers need to establish net running game. So whatever offensive line, whoever the personnel are in, or whatever their attitude is, we need to see them planning on running that ball and trying to give Tom Brady some time to throw that pass by establishing some sort of running game.
If you have a question for the guys, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay, Cup of Ray, and of course Tyler Brashaw, newest member here on Bucs Report, talking about that running game. Who do you think more likely is to kind of pop off? Is it the victim of volume of Ronald Jones, or is it Leonard Fournette?
I think, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, another Bucs fan that I know from this area. I don't care if they don't throw the ball at all on the first possession. I don't care if they come in and go 3 straight handoffs for 3 yards. I want them to come in and show that they're going to run the ball this week. I still think it's Rojo's job. Look, this guy had 3 straight games of 100 yards or more, and it just kind of feels like we've given up on him a little bit. I know he had a couple big drops in the games, and I feel like that his trust went out Bruce's trust went out the window a little bit with him, but I still think it's his job, especially if we're handing the ball off. It's tough to throw to him because we know what kind of hands he has, and it's not very good. But in terms of running the football, I think it's still his job. I think he's still a very efficient runner, and he's still very good at what he does. And it still goes back to the depth on this team. If he doesn't look good, we still have Leonard Fournette, and we still have a guy that was impactful in this league. What seems like years ago now is LaShawn McCoy. So we have options if Rojo doesn't work out or is struggling. But that still goes to the offensive line. How well can they create holes for the running game as well? So to me, this entire game comes down to the offensive line and what they do. But I just want to see him pound the ball. I know we have Tom Brady and we have so many weapons on the outside in terms of Gronk, Mike, Chris Godwin, AB now. But I want to pound the ball. I want to run the ball. Just an enormous amount this week, just to throw all that away from last week and get that running game's confidence back up. And then that opens up the play action for a guy like Antonio Brown who can fly by anybody, and same with Chris Godwin. You have to be balanced. You can't be one-dimensional in the NFL, and we saw that last week.
You're exactly right. And Ray, who do you think really goes off in this game? Is it the victim of volume, the VOV and Ronald Jones, or is it Leonard Fournette, in your opinion?
Well, see, here's the thing, guys, and we know this. We all know this, that 53 guys in that room, they know where the bread's being buttered. They know where the BS is being pulled. And I talked to Blake Anthony, who if you didn't get a chance to catch his show today with the breakdown, and he has it here on Mondays and Fridays, but he had a nice breakdown today. But Blake and I were talking at the deck last Friday, and Pete, you were right there, but you were doing your notes for the postgame show, and I said, Blake, did Rojo ever get in the doghouse? And he went, well, no, but usually as far as in 2020, when the Buccaneers go to a more passing offense, they bring in Leonard Fournette. And I'm like, well, they never actually tried to establish the run, but somehow Fournette ends up in there. So almost like they committed to the pass. Obviously, we now know 5 total rushes, including the Blaine Gabbert kneel down. But whether it's Keyshawn Vaughn, Rojo, Leonard Fournette, all of them, and then Shady on third downs for like screen passes if the Buccaneers face third down. We just need to see this team, and I think that the defense needs to see this offense establishing that attitude and the run on that side of the ball, not only for them to be able to keep the Carolina Panthers in check and keep their offense off the field, but to keep them from getting winded like we saw last Sunday night so they can be as effective as we know they can be.
All right, let's go out to the webheads, and then we'll continue on here. Let's see. Peter is right. As long as you establish the run in the cold, you will win games. Good stuff, Fred. Everyone had confidence. We beat the Saints too. That's fair. Shout out to 320 Solar. Of course, with the Eagles, their biggest issues is simply Carson Wentz and his super inconsistent play. Misador says to stop the Panthers defense, you need to slow down Burns. You run at him just to keep him honest. I agree with that. And what happens, Yvonne? Why is he getting the McCoy treatment? What do you guys think happened to Keyshawn Vaughn? We showed up there catching a touchdown, I believe, against the Chargers. And then after that, we really haven't seen him much since. Why do you think his disappearance all of a sudden?
I just think you call it a victim of
volume.
I just think he's a victim of the depth chart. He's a rookie. Although he was high on the draft boards for a lot of guys and in some mid to late rounds, but it's just you have Rojo in front of you, you have Leonard Fournette in front of you, and you have LaShawn McCoy in front of you, and that's just kind of the way it's gone for him. He in a way he drew a bad card, but at the same time he's sitting behind three good backs that can have a lot to teach for him. So I just think it's the depth chart. I don't think he did anything specific to lose touches or lose time on the field. It's just where do you use him, and when.
Tampa Bay, Ray, what do you say?
Well, see, if you go back to, again, that week 2 when Leonard Fournette broke the century mark against those Panthers, we remember that game that Rojo was still doing a little more dancing east and west, not running north and south. They put Fournette in the game, and immediately he starts kind of brutalizing that defensive line and picking up some yards. He averages 8.4 yards per carry in that game, just had 12 carries for just over 100 yards. And now here's the thing about Keyshawn Vaughn. Don't forget, this kid's already shown, I think we've seen, that he can pretty much do it all. Now, by that, I don't mean he's seasoned already and he's gotten the experience, but we've seen him show the hands out of the backfield, and we've seen him run with power. And don't forget, next year, as much as I'd like to see a Leonard Fournette still here, he's only on a 1-year contract, and a Shady McCoy was kind of near the sunset as it is. Leonard, Keyshawn Vaughn, depending on Rojo finishes these next 7 games and carries us into the playoffs, Keyshawn Vaughn could be your number 1 back going into 2021. But we'll get there when we get to that bridge when we cross it. Or we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, well, whatever you just said, I don't know, but Confusing.
It sounded like you knew, so I was just letting it go. It sounded like he was real confident, man.
Yeah.
I'll stick with it.
All right, there you go. Good stuff there, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Let's go out to Bucs Nation. They were, basically spotlighting two of the rookies that were done well. In fact, it's been PFF that has spotlighted them. And in fact, they have said the two rookies, Pro Football Focus midseason NFL All-Rookie Team. PFF says on Tristan Wirfs, while Willis may have a slight edge in terms of pass blocking grade, Wirfs has been more impressive rookie considering the competition he has faced. That would be Tristan Wirfs. He had to face Cameron Jordan twice, the Darius Smith, Joey Bosa, Brian Burns, and Khalil Mack. Now get this, guys. He's only allowed 16 pressures on 390 pass blocking snaps at this point. Is absolutely incredible. Your thoughts on Tristan Wirfs? Because a lot of people thought, bringing in a rookie from Iowa, not necessarily having the reps in the offseason here, Tyler, that he would struggle, and he's done completely the opposite.
He's been everything we hoped for and then some. Just to see a rookie perform like that under the pressure of holding up for Tom Brady too, right? There's a lot more pressure in that than holding up for Jameis Winston. Your rookie year, you're coming in and you're having to pass block for Tom Brady on his first year here when the Bucs are all in. That's a lot to ask for a young kid, but that's what you get when you draft these Big Ten linemen. It's just these Midwest corn-fed monsters, it feels like, and they come in and they do their job. And there was a lot of talk at, potentially, and I don't know about in the locker room or within the coaching staff of moving him to the left tackle. But I know a lot of fans brought it up and were curious why we weren't doing that at one time. But that's still a lot more pressure to ask a guy. That's, outside of quarterback, that's maybe the most important spot on the field for anybody is guarding Tom Brady's blind side. So I still think that's a lot to ask for this kid, but this kid has been unbelievable, much more than we drafted him high. Obviously, he was our first pick in the draft. We expected a lot out of him, but I think we're getting more than what we even expected.
Tampa Bay Ray, what are your thoughts on Wirfs stepping right in right away at the right tackle spot?
Totally solid. And, it's not just like the olden days when it was Reggie White at right defensive end and your best defensive players were at right end going against your left tackle mano a mano. And these days we saw with the Bosa and we see with the Cam Jordan with the Saints, and we see them that the other defense have realized, hey, if we don't put our best guy at right defensive end, or if we don't have the best talent on D-line at right end going against the left tackle, which in the Buccaneers case, the jury's out if you're going to call Donovan Smith your best offensive lineman, probably your left guard in Ali Marpet. But the fact that Tristan Wirfs came in here and held his own, I think just it goes to show the fact that, and of course, you take away that one play where he was postered by Khalil Mack, right? I mean, we look at that and you think about a rookie getting their bumps as they go along, and you go, as part of the process, he got initiated. He did get initiated in that Chicago game, but Tristan Wirfs has been solid so far in 2020.
He really has. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, for a guy like Tristan Wirfs, that's nothing to hang your head about either. A guy like Khalil Mack coming at you, he's made a career, Pro Bowl Hall of Fame type career off of rushing right tackles, rushing that offensive line. So that's nothing to hang your head about. He's been excellent outside of that, but he did. I don't know if I've seen a grown man throw another grown man like that, but especially a grown man of that size, but nothing to hang your head about. This kid's been phenomenal.
Hey, Tyler, it's not just that, but we're just impressed with the fact that the rookie can get engaged enough with Khalil Mack and get flipped like that. If it was Donovan Smith, he's just getting pushed backwards and ends up tackling Brady with his butt, right? So
at least Tristan was in front of him for some amount of time. All you have to do is step over Donovan Smith, and you're there.
All right, guys. Another rookie that PFF and from this article, again, this is from Bucs Nation. David Harrison, of course, our friends Evan Winter. Talked to David Harrison before. Probably have him on the show someday. Winfield has been around the ball a ton for the Buccaneers defense. This is what PFF is saying. Is in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. He's got 2 sacks, a pick, and 2 pass breakups so far on the season. The bigger thing is that he's really been caught out of place, with only 1 catch allowed that went for over 20 yards this season. Who has had more of an impact in your opinion? And first, talk about Winfield and his impact on this back end, Tyler.
he has been, of all the talent we have on this team, he has been my favorite player to watch this year. I know we have Devin White, who's explosive, and then obviously on the offensive side of the ball. But to see this kid as a rookie come in here and fly around the way he has, be so disruptive in some of the running attempts that offenses are laying on us, fly around in the passing game, breaking stuff up, just disrupting everything, it feels like. He doesn't feel like a rookie. He feels like a 3-4 year vet. It's just been unbelievable to see what this kid can do. Now, he had a great teacher growing up. He's had some excellent game film to look at throughout his childhood, and I think you can credit his dad with a lot of what he knows. But to see what he has been able to do as a rookie, he's been my favorite player to watch. I love seeing him on the defensive side of the ball. He's always around the ball, and he just plays. It just doesn't seem like a rookie. And I know the Bucs have had a lot of primetime games. For the guys that haven't got to see him outside of those primetime games, I just suggest you tune in and see this kid. He's something special.
How special has Winfield Jr. been to this back end?
Very nice. And right, the ball hawk. And we talk about Winfield Sr. and the fact that he's a second generation and his father having played for the Vikings and broken down film with him. And I'm glad, though, Peter, you mentioned the fact that he was he's in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year, because the Buccaneers are also going to be staring, the Buccaneers offense, and Tom Brady will be staring across that defensive line at Jeremy Chin. And now Jeremy Chin, who some would say is actually 1 or 2 in the race for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And his father didn't play professional football, but his uncle did, Steve Atwater, the safety for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, drop the knowledge right now, Tampa Bay. Go ahead.
Well, I told you I did some research today. It happens once in a while. But what I'm saying is that he's a long player. He's 6'3", 220, just like his uncle Steve Atwater was with the Broncos. Now he's a rookie, and he'll jump right in there. And that was one of my keys for this game. And I happen to mention, I think I mentioned in that story, the article I wrote today for Bucs Report, is the fact that not only do we want to worry about Derek Brown and then Mott, or the rookie defensive end from Penn State, that rookie.
Yes.
Right, Gross Matos. They're a young defensive line. And, of course, without Luke Kuechly in the middle there, we now know that Levante David is the best middle linebacker in the NFC South, or at least inside linebacker. But the fact that last week we saw it was Will Lutz versus Ryan Suckup, and 2 of the best top 3 kickers in the NFC. And now this weekend, you've got 2 teams facing each other, again, a divisional game in the South. And you've got probably in Winfield and then in Chin, you've got 2 of the top 5 in the running for NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. So the Bucs just can't seem to keep getting these matchups week in and week out, but it only fortifies the fact that they're going to have to show up and lean in and give this a good divisional game, give them a good try.
All right, and right now you're on the Sports Web, giving it a good try here. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay, Cup of Ray. When is that show taking place? Do you have a special show coming up tomorrow night? What's going on, Tampa Bay Ray?
I'm glad you mentioned it, Peter. So, yeah, we're going to do a show tomorrow night. Harry the Greek and I, we're going to do a handicapping show. He's broken down a lot of film on the Panthers this year. He's got some great insights for the Bucs-Panthers game, but we're going to actually cover all the games that are being played this week. And, normally we don't go Saturday night, but we just get excited. We can't wait for Sunday. We're going to be live doing our pregame show as early as we can Sunday morning. We like to get out there and start talking about it. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Harry and I are going to get together and we're going to do a show, and we're going to handicap all the games in the league this year. Harry's running about 83% this year on the picks. So we're going to put him to the test. We're going to actually put him down on paper. We're going to hold him to what he says. He actually successfully picked the Colts over the Titans, and I took him. So, Peter, you still owe me that breakfast sandwich we talked about.
Yes, I do owe you that breakfast sandwich. You're a jerk. No wonder you got it. Good pick, my friend. He's already Tampa Bay Ray has me 2-0 on bets. He bet against me last year with the Tennessee Titans, and then this year he bet against the Titans and won both times. So he's a jerk, but he definitely gets his breakfast sandwich. I'll be happy to get it for you there on Sunday. And, of course, Tyler, go ahead and promote yourself a little bit here. Where can they follow you and check you out on Facebook?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at Brashaw2. As I've said many times before, reach out to me about anything, any Bucs questions, any sports questions at all. I'd love to chat with anybody. I'm on here often with Rick from the Cheap Seats. We often on here what's cooking in the South. So anytime I'm on, feel free to shoot in the comments. Ask me any questions you guys have. You can find me, Tyler Brashaw, on Facebook. Like I said, just reach out and let's talk some sports.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me ask you this, and then we'll kind of wrap this up on a Friday night because we don't want to keep everybody. We know they got other things to do. We appreciate the support here from the Webheads. Who has been more important as a rookie to this team? Has it been Antoine Winfield Jr. to the back end or Tristan Wirfs to the offensive line? Either you guys can agree or disagree. Give me some points here of why this player, one of these players, is more important than the other. Tyler first.
That's a really tough question, honestly. I mean, you look at what Tristan Wirfs has done to that right side of the line and protecting Tom Brady. I mean, obviously, holding up Tom Brady is the biggest job you have on this team right now. So I'm going to go with him simply because his expectations are to hold up the guy we brought in here for $50 million to win us a Super Bowl. And then I think, as good as Antoine Winfield has been, you have a guy like Mike Edwards that can step in there. But I don't think we have a second right tackle that we can throw in there that can do as much as Tristan Wirfs has done. So I'm going to go with Tristan Wirfs just because the expectation of holding up Tom Brady. Although I love seeing Antoine Winfield play, like I mentioned, I just think Tristan is more important to this team right now, and I think he's been a little more impactful as well.
Tampa Bay agree, Winfield Jr. or Wirfs?
I'm going to agree with Tyler. I'm going to say that obviously Tristan Wirfs because of the fact that he's starting on that right side, holding down that right tackle position. But, I'm going to go ahead and throw a shout out just Jason Light and the entire Bucs organization on the draft in 2020 because you're talking about Tyler Johnson, Keyshawn Vaughn, Antoine Winfield Jr., Tristan Wirfs. So all these guys, even though we haven't seen them so much make huge you haven't made huge plays maybe in all the big wins, or maybe they've had lack of plays in some of the losses, but the fact that we've seen a little bit of bright light in all these players this year. But without a doubt, Tristan Wirfs at right tackle, you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, and you go back though, Winfield almost had his first interception in that first game in New Orleans. I mean, he was a hair's breadth away from gaining that interception in the end zone, and that would have been his first on the year. And I think that would have actually, did we say that would also made him that would have been the first father and son who had interceptions from the same quarterback, because I think they were saying Drew Brees had thrown an interception to Winfield Sr., which would have been great. Or I'm not sure if it was him or another player, but obviously Tristan Wirfs so far for me in 2020 has been your Buccaneers Rookie of the Year.
No, I think you can make a case for both of them because, look, Winfield Jr., he's definitely acting like a veteran. He brings another facet to that back end that they haven't had. And I actually think he's kind of solidified that back end. A lot of people don't like what they've seen the last couple of weeks there. And then Tristan Wirfs, what he's done is solidified the right tackle spot. So integral to that running game, pass protecting for Brady. In fact, he's outplayed Donovan Smith. So you can make a case for both of them. But I actually think, and I actually believe that both of these guys have an opportunity to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, although Tristan Wirfs may not win it because he's an offensive tackle. And more likely, you usually don't see guys like that win it. Usually see a skilled position win it more than anything else. But Winfield, to me, could win Defensive Rookie of the Year, as he should, with all the things that he can do at the defensive position, not only cover, but also read a defense and blitz, and how the Bucs use him and Todd Bowles uses him. And the defense is so important. And I think it's definitely helped this defense get better. So
I think, Peter, I'm sorry, Tyler, but I was going to say, I think if the Buccaneers actually start utilizing a run game, they actually start taking advantage of the fact that we saw Tristan Wirfs back at Iowa, and he gets to the second level, and he's a nasty blocker, right? He'll even, and a guy's down, he'll even proceed. He wants to block you through the ground. He wants to bury you. I think if we see the Buccaneers, we see the no risk it, no biscuit offensive philosophy, having learned a lesson from last Sunday night against the Saints, actually start utilizing that running game, and the Buccaneers go long into the playoffs, and or maybe Super Bowl 55. Let's hope, Buccaneer fans. Why stop now? Then you could see Tristan Wirfs 100% up for NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, just based on the fact that they'll be depending upon him to make those blocks. Because, guys, I don't want to seem like a total negative Nanny here, but I don't think we're all of a sudden thinking Donovan Smith's going to become fleet of foot and start blocking downfield. So if the Buccaneers are going to get that running game going, they're going to have to pull Marpet to the right side, continue to use Wirfs, get him to the second level, and Jensen's just going to have to keep on kicking butt in the middle there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Tyler, you wanted to say something?
I was just going to go back to something that Tampa Bay Ray said just a second ago, and I have a question for you guys. And not only in the Jason Light era, but can you guys think of a better draft than this year's draft?
I could real quick, Tyler. Well, obviously 1995, right? Because they take Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks first round. But I know you know that. But other than that,
Ray, to his point, from getting you look at a draft, it's usually about 3 years where you judge prospects.
True.
Who's ever seen a draft where I think the Saints, a couple of years ago with the drafting they had, they were very impressive guys coming in contributing. 95 is easy to say because you have Sapp and Brooks and they're Hall of Famers, but it took them some time. You had to cultivate it. It had to marinate a little bit. Right now, what these rookies are doing, coming in right away and contributing, I don't know, besides a couple of years ago with the Saints, I don't know if you've ever seen a draft like this. And all the criticism that Jason Light received in the the offseason about him drafting, and look, some of it he deserved it with some of the missed picks in the first, second, and third round, stuff like that. But
Roberto Aguayo.
Yeah, he definitely redeemed himself with getting players in the first, second round coming out, not only contributing but being the center of attention. You get a Tristan Wirfs, he's your right tackle. He's the guy that's going to come in, and he's not no slouch off the street. In fact, he's better than Donovan Smith. You got an Antoine Winfield who's looking like the honey badger out there in the Todd Bowles' defense. You got Tyler Johnson catching a couple of touchdowns, making some catches. Vaughn contributing. So overall, Tyler definitely has a point there, Tampa Bay Ray.
Peter, I completely agree that the fact that even with the 95 draft, and Sam Weiss is the coach, may he rest in peace, but Rich McKay as the GM, they make that move. Of course, they draft 2 Hall of Famers in the first round, but it took them till the next year. Of course, that 95, it was still Hardy Nickerson in the middle. You had a very young Derek Brooks out of FSU. We already knew that, and as far as I'm concerned, I'll say it again here because I've said it 1,000 times, Warren Sapp was 100% your Heisman Trophy winner that year. Instead, I believe, I should know this because I talk about it so much, but it went to the running back out of Colorado, Rashawn Salam.
Yes.
Rashawn Salam.
Yes. Had over 2,000 rushing yards, by the way. So that's
but Peter, go back to 95, and I would challenge anybody to a debate that there was not one player in college football that was more dominating than number 76 at Miami in the middle. He was in the backfield before every ball got into the quarterback's hands. He coming out, of course, he gets the positive tests for marijuana. His stock draft drops. He falls to the Bucs. I kid you not to exaggerate, but on draft day, when we draft Warren Sapp, tears in my eyes. There's no way in this day and age right now, if you take the same exact scenario, and we'll say it's marijuana like it was back in 95, but you get a couple of positive tests and it comes out late, like Laramie Tunsil did, and ended up going to Miami, and now he's with Texas. But there's no way Warren Sapp gets out of the top 3, if not the number 1 position, and I'm going to stand by that. Now, of course, this year it's going to be a little different with a quarterback out of Clemson, but I'm just saying that Warren Sapp, the talent falls to us. But you're right; it took them a second year with Tony Dungy as the rookie coach for the Bucs in '96 that they really started putting it together. But as far as this year, hats off to Jason Light for being brave enough. You've got Godwin, and you've got Evans, 2 Pro Bowl receivers, and you bring in Tyler Johnson, great receiver. And I think we've already seen in some of the games and some of the performances this kid's put in and some of the catches he's made, he's business, 100% business. So you're talking about Chris Godwin's a free agent next year. We want to see that deal happen. But all of a sudden now you're looking at, why do they draft Tyler Johnson? Well, now the Buccaneers are going to have options. They're going to have negotiations. They're going to have the upper hand in some of these things. And we're going to see them continue to draft because we weren't just building for 1 year. We're building for the future. And that's one thing I like to see in the draft, and they had this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you go back to 96, you had Alstott in that draft. He was pretty good. And go to 97, Warwick Dunn, Barber. I mean, pretty good drafts. But guys, once again, Warwick Dunn came in, Alstott came in, contributed, but we've kind of never really seen a Bucs draft where you have multiple draft picks that come in and the sole focus and coming in right away and being unbelievable. So Tyler,
for me, that Tyler Johnson pick was so important too because he fell so late. You didn't expect the Bucs to get him there. A guy that did so well in the Big Ten as well as he did, but he's a guy that can replace Chris Godwin, who's looking for a big payday at the end of this. So as much as you needed the Winfield pick and the Wirtz pick because those were ultimately your biggest needs in the draft. This Tyler Johnson pick was a really smart pick and a really good pick at that position where they were in the draft to potentially backfill a guy like Chris Godwin getting paid somewhere else or moving along somewhere else, like I just mentioned. But such a smart pick, I thought, picking him where they did and being able to get him that late in the draft as well.
And Tyler, talking Buccaneer wide receivers, I finally got around today, 2 days late, but this evening I got home and I finally had a chance to watch Inside the NFL, which I think all of us have been watching. It's been one of my staples since I was just a guy to a grasshopper. Love it. It's on Showtime now. And even after the debacle that was last Sunday night, and I talked about this with Rick Hughes, view from the cheap seats for that the other night when we were talking. And Tyler, you were on there as well. We were talking about. I thought that first catch that Antonio Brown makes, and he jumps right up because this cat's probably one of the most, if not gifted, wide receivers, one of the best physically fit wide receivers in the National Football League. He jumps up and throws his hands out and drops the ball, but I loved it on the Inside the NFL I watched for this week, and Antonio's walking onto the field, and I got the camera on him. He turns to the camera, and it's just classic because we've heard so much about the helmet issue and the this and the that, and he's a problem child, or what's he going to do? And they're trying to make it. And Peter, you even alluded to it when you opened your show tonight. Is he going to be a problem? Is there going to be attitude? And the fact he turns to the camera and he just goes, I'm back. And it just gave me chills when I said that, just like it did when I saw it today. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, this Buccaneers team has all the components to put together a deep and long 2020 playoff run. But we need to see that offensive identity this week. It doesn't need to be Tom Brady 7 steps and a prayer. We need to see a running game. We need to see 11 guys on that field, whether it's Cam Brate and a 12 personnel, or they got Gronkowski and three receiver set. We need to see an offense, and especially from inside that line, we need to see an offense that goes out there with an attitude and enforces their will upon those Panthers. Because this game right here, not only we need to win it to continue to get, again, we've bounced back from other 2 losses this year. Last week being our 3rd loss, we've bounced back with 3rd in a row. We need to win this week and enforce our will, establish an identity, because next week we have those Chiefs coming in here. And those Chiefs, believe it or not, guys, we've seen in the last couple of weeks, as much as Patrick Mahomes may be your MVP of the NFL in 2020, those Chiefs are a beatable team. They're not unbeatable.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Tyler, go ahead and promote yourself once again.
Again, find me Brashaw2 on Twitter or Tyler Brashaw on Facebook. Also, I'll mention this again. If anybody out there listening is looking for a staffing agency, you guys have roles within your company that need filled, feel free to reach me at tyler.brashaw at MEA Strategic Solutions. And if you haven't used staffing agencies in the past, feel free to reach out and I'll kind of explain to you how it works and see if there's any way that we can help you. Our CEO is a former CTO of 35 plus years, so technology is our niche. Get a hold of me. I'd love to help in any way I can, even if it's just a conversation to talk about how these things work. But other than that, I don't have anything, and I appreciate you guys jumping on, or letting me jump on, talking like it's my show here, letting me jump on, and then I look forward.
Oh, well, hold on a sec. Go ahead, Tyler.
He threw me out.
Hey, Tyler, if I can, I wanted to, if you're around tomorrow night, and I know it's hard, you got a lot of stuff to do, but we're going to be doing that show tomorrow night. We're going to go at least 1 hour, probably 2.
Yep.
Love to have you come on. We're going to be talking about 2020. We're going to be talking about the lines for this week. We're going to be talking about the Bucs and Panthers, and we're going to be talking about, COVID-19 and the possible effects on the rest of this NFL season. And the only reason why we're actually having a show on a Saturday night is because, let's be honest, quite a few of the college games are already canceled this week, and we want to talk Buccaneer football. So, Tyler, if you can join us tomorrow night, and Peter, you're always invited, brother. Feel free to join us tomorrow night. I'll get the link in Messenger for you, and we'd love to have you on.
Absolutely. I'd be honored to join as long as you don't throw me out like Peter just did. I caught that, Peter.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I'm sorry about that. When you said it acted like it was your show that I had to throw you out. I'm just Tyler Bradshaw, welcome to the Bucs Report family. Appreciate your time. All right.
All right, fellas. You have a good rest of your night. Have a good one, guys.
Take care, brother.
All right, man. He brings it here on the Evolution. Tampa Bay Ray. You got Cup of Ray. Of course, you got the show tomorrow night. What else are you working on, boss?
I just, I hope some of our Bucs Report faithful agree. I've been on a writing spree. I kind of went through a dry spell there, but I've just been really busy. But lately, I've been just really loving writing. So please, if you haven't had a chance already, I've got a few articles this week. I might have another one pub this weekend. I'm going to write one. I get up there early in the morning. That's the thing about being an old guy, is that I'm up so early and everybody's sleeping. And I usually wake up. I usually go to bed with an idea, and then it percolates overnight. I get up in the morning and I end up writing it. So if you can't join for the show tomorrow night, definitely join us for our pregame and all of our coverage there at the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol on Sunday. We're looking forward to this game against the Panthers this week. And look for my writing, look for some of the articles, and those are the articles from all the rest of the staff here at Bucs Report. And Peter, thanks for letting me come on tonight, brother.
Absolutely. My co-host there, Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Cup of Ray on tomorrow night. Sunday, you're not going to be on. Sunday morning, you're going to be on, or Sunday, you're not?
You know what? Sunday always, because I get down to the Deck Bar and Grill, but I'm probably more focused on Sunday morning getting set up for that pregame show because it's a 1 o'clock. And, the Buccaneers, we're not used to this fact that they're playing at 1 o'clock because we've been playing so many primetime games that we want to make sure we hit the ground running. So tomorrow night's going to be at least 2 hours. We're going to bring it. And I'm also trying to work on taking calls tomorrow night. So hopefully if anyone wants to call in and talk with us, you have any questions, handicapping questions, Bucs Panthers questions, just want to ask me anything, feel free to do so.
All right, there you go. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, my co-host of the Sports Web. Thanks a lot for your time. All right, boss?
Thanks, brother. See you soon.
All right, see you soon, man. Always. I love those guys. They always bring in that guy right there, man. He's like my brother from another mother. I mean, he's just unbelievable. Does a phenomenal job. His work of writing, being a part of this Bucs Report family, and it just continues to grow. Will continue to pump out the content. Let's read the rest of these comments, and then we will get out of here on this Friday night, this Friday the 13th, which wasn't so bad, was it? We didn't have any tech problems, knock on wood. No Wi-Fi problems, like I thought we may. So let's go here back to what happened to Vaughn. We talked about that. You must establish the run. 0 excuses. Vaughn needs to sit and learn. Definitely a liability on the field again. Thanks to Fred, the core there, for being on. Big Ten rookies are killing it for the Bucs. Absolutely. Smith is garbage, says Misador. Winfield Jr. has been solid, definitely playing beyond his years. Best virtual edits video, Peter Blake, he says. Good stuff. Winfield's position has more depth behind him. Good point. Aaron Rodgers, says Philip. I don't know why Philip Schwegler, our editor-in-chief, said Aaron Rodgers, but okay. Solid 2020 draft grade A. Tyler Johnson, super high ceiling. And Ron says, no doubt, I had a feeling that would be an impactful pick for Winfield Jr. So with that being said, let's wrap it up. Thanks to Fred the Core, of course, Tyler Bradshaw, a part of the Bucs Report family, and my co-host, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. We will be back at 11 o'clock a.m. Good and early. I will be up getting a breakfast sandwich for Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, winning that bet, and getting you ready for Bucs versus the Panthers. Are you ready? Are you ready to get that bad taste out of your mouth after the Bucs lose to the Saints? We can just put it in the rear view mirror and do 3 things for me early. Well, it's not Saturday morning yet, but let's just act like it is, okay? 3 things. Write them down, live by them, and come back and tell me how they make you feel, okay? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. We'll be back on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock here, live on Bucs Report for the Sports Web, powered by 320solar.com. Have a great weekend. The evolution of Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Jimmy Wood, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet?
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up.
Just because I let it slide doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart till it's almost white. 'Cause I wanna let you feel strong.